What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here tonight, and tonight is Q&A. Ask your questions, get your questions answered tonight. And so tonight, that is my goal. I have a couple questions that I had some thoughts on today of helping people grow their business, and why do some people struggle to grow their business, and why do some people come to my class and close $78,000 jobs. And so it's just neat to see, kind of figure out like what is the why behind why do some people grow very well and other people do not. And so that's what I'll hit on, but I'd rather answer your all's questions of whatever questions that you may have this week. We had an amazing Christmas light, or I'm sorry, a landscape lighting class and an amazing permanent light class this weekend here in Cincinnati. That was awesome. We had 16 people here. We had Michael Zuzak talking about landscape lighting. We had myself talking about marketing and growing your business. We had Sean Day here talking about recruiting and how to hire. We had Sean Day here talking about leadership and how to grow your business. And so it was a great class this weekend. I was excited. This week we have been working on some things in my business, and so I've been excited because I seen DJ. He went out and pressure washed today, so of course he might be going out tomorrow and snow plowing. We're supposed to get an inch of snow possibly tonight and in the morning, so you just never know. Today's 60 something degrees in t-shirt. Tomorrow's supposed to be 30, so it's one of those ups and downs, and you don't know what type of weather you're going to get. And so that's where we are. I know I've talked to some people up in Connecticut, and they've got foot of snow, and I know Cleveland got feet of snow, and so a lot of y'all have gotten a lot of snow, but some of us are starting to get better at that. I just thinking too, just a little update for everyone that yes, I've been on 75 hard since January 6th, and we are still plugging along. It's been great. And the other day on Friday, I went to the gym before my class and I weighed in there. I was at 267. Yesterday, I weighed in again and I was at 264. So that's pretty awesome that I've come down from 292 to 264. Now, it's all about being consistent, and it's just like business, right? If you want to grow a business, you have to be consistent. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep growing that business. And so, again, that is where we are. So I'd love to hear some comments from you all, some questions. What is your all's questions about growing your business this year? What is your questions about equipment? What is your questions about Christmas light, pressure washing? Ask your questions. There is no dumb question. The only dumb question is the question that you don't ask. So one of the things I've been thinking about is why do some people able to grow their business and why are other ones struggle? And so one of the big things that I've seen and I've heard people dealing with is pricing, right? A lot of times we don't have the mindset to believe that we can price the way we need to price. And so it's exciting to see, people that have learned how to do pricing. And, one of the guys that came to my class this past weekend was Ashley. Yes, his name is Ashley. And, he does do irrigation and he's doing patios and a little bit more than just landscape lighting. He does do landscape lighting now, but that's why he came to the class. And, it was neat because he literally got a bid this week that he went out and he did what we said in our sales thing. He went in there and he asked, to sit at the kitchen table. Why do we sit at the kitchen table? Because that's where friends sit, right? And so it was cool to see that he did do that and end up closing an $80,000 job. And so that's the exciting things that we can do when we start looking at how do we sell better? How do we sell at premium pricing? I was talking to one of the guys that does a lot of door knocking in an area that super people are super cheap. And there's literally people out there going and hanging 50 feet of lights for less than $100. And it's like, there's no way that you can have the proper insurance and the proper everything that you need to have to be able to run a business and only charging $100, less than $2 a foot. And so these are all things that when you might think that, well, it's just my area. And it's like, well, this guy thought that too, but then he changed his mindset. He used to be at $4 a foot, and now he's at $8 a foot. And guess what? He's making more money, closing more jobs. He's doing $500,000 a year and not working real hard. And so that's my whole point of this is, what do you need to do to change your beliefs, your mindset, whatever that might be, for you to keep growing your business? Every dry. That's awesome, Jason. Your face looks slimmer. Keep it up. I'm rooting for you. Yep. Congratulations, Jason. Excited to wrap up a deck build tomorrow and head to Tennessee for the Stain and Steel University, investing in myself. That's awesome. So, what questions do you all have? What is, or I'll ask you all questions. What is one thing that keeps you from growing a business? What is the thing that you struggle with? What is that thing? Is it a growth mindset? Is it a marketing mindset? I was dealing with someone this week, and that was back and forth of, well, I don't want to put money into Facebook, or I don't want to put money into Google ads because that cuts in my profit. And it's like, well, first off, you need to change the way you believe that when you invest in your business, you're investing into your business. So if you want your business to grow, you have to invest in your business. And this is the importance of why we need to invest in your business. Jeremy put here that he's going to the Stain and Seal University to invest in himself. And when he invests in himself, he's investing into his business. And, the 15 people that came to class this weekend invested in themselves, right? They came, they learned, they grew together, they had an amazing network. And that's what is awesome to see people have those aha moments of, a lot of people come here for the lights, right? To how to hang the lights, how to do that. But as I always say, the most important day is the marketing and sales day, right? That day is the most important day of it all, because if you don't get marketing, you won't get sales, you won't have jobs. I know that I've seen some people that they go and buy some big fancy rig. There was literally a guy here this weekend. He went and bought him a rig, and he worked for another company, and he decided that he was going to go work for himself. But guess what? He didn't know how to do marketing. He didn't know how to do sales. And now he had to go back to work for the other guy. Because if you don't know how to do sales, and if you don't know how to do marketing and how to get the phone to ring, I can literally teach anybody to hang Christmas lights, and I can teach anybody to do pressure washing. Like, I literally had 18 and 19-year-olds running trucks for me, making $250,000 for that truck with that truck. And so it's not rocket science to be able to go get someone to clean. The hard part is how do you get the $250,000 for that truck? That's the case that you got to start figuring out. How do you start building those routes? How do you start getting people to pay you premium pricing? How do we make sure that we are growing our business instead of hoping for it? Because a lot of people hope, and then at the end of the day, hope don't get us nowhere. Driven function, SEO and marketing, right? Well, and here's the thing about that, right? And I've got different thoughts on this. Some people, and it's one of those things of the age old, go buy a website and your business will come. I just want to tell you something. Just because you do a website doesn't mean that you're going to get business. Just because you pay someone to do SEO doesn't mean that you're going to get business, right? It's just one of those things that before I do that, I want you to do a lot of other things before I go spend thousands of dollars on SEO that there isn't no guarantee, right? Now, is it one thing that I can get your Google business profile up and running all on all cylinders and getting you to the top three? Then yes, but sometimes it takes time to be able to make that happen. One thing holding me back is seasonality mindset. And how do we change that, right? How do we change the mindset of seasonality? Because, it's kind of funny because one of the guys I was talking to today, he was kind of in that same boat. He's like, what should I do? Should I do landscape lighting? Should I do something else? And it's just a matter of just wait a couple weeks and start focusing on your Christmas light business, right? Start calling people, start reaching out to people. If you're going to do permanent lights, some people are doing permanent lights, some people aren't, right? Some people don't believe in permanent lights, some people do. Some people, that's all they do. And so it's just one of those things of what do you want at the end of the day? Leads, labor, and rain with staining. Yeah, that rain kind of throws a stamper, kind of throws a ringer in there on when you cannot do staining jobs, especially being that that's kind of what you focus on. You kind of got to wait till the rainy season is done, so you get 2 days off to be able to do the staining side of it. Labor, I mean, there's people out there that want to work now. I feel like that the labor, there's definitely people more hungry than there used to be. And then the leads is what are you doing to get leads, right? What are you doing to get leads? Are you being consistent in what you are doing in your marketing? Because that's the key. You know, we don't want to be on the roller coaster, and I see this a lot, right? People get real busy and they're doing marketing, and they get real busy and they quit doing marketing. And then they get down here 2 weeks out and they're like, oh my God, I ain't got no work. And so they start doing marketing, and they do this. What I tell people is when you're busy, when you're 2, 3 weeks out, drop the hammer, go even harder, right? Put everything in there, because what you can do is raise your prices, and we can get better customers, and that's what we want to do. And if you're more than 2 weeks out, then you definitely either need to get another truck on board, or you need to figure out how not to get more than 2 weeks out, because if you're more than 2 weeks out, you are losing customers left and right. And that's not what we want to do, right? We do not want to lose a bunch of customers because we're booking out a month out. I have 75 5-star reviews, 78 5-star reviews. My nearest competitor in my area has 17 5-stars, but outranks me in my problem, SEO or something else. Well, the first question is where are you located versus where is he located? If he's closer to your service area that you want to be in, and you're out 20, 30 miles out of town, then that's why he's going to rank no matter what you do, because proximity outranks almost a lot. The next question is what so back to proximity, that's the first thing. The next thing is what does his website look like, and what does your website look like? Do you have citations? Does he have citations? Does he have landing pages for those city pages? Do you have city pages? And so those are the things that you would want to look at. Oh, that was the other thing. Is your business a service-based business and his is an actual location? Like when you look it up on the map, do you actually see the location, or do you see it as a service-based business that it just pops up? Because if it's actually as a business and you're a service-based business, he's going to outrank you about 8 out of 10 times. He's going to outrank you. So that's why you kind of got to look at what is he doing versus what are you doing. Because yes, you got 78 5-star reviews, and that's great, but is that all you've done? Are you 10 miles away from your service area? Are you 30 miles away from your service area? You know, yes, I'm close to my service area, but my service area that I want to be in is 40 minutes away. So when I was down here in Northern Kentucky, I never got much work up in Cincinnati. Now, when I put my Google business profile right in the middle of where I got, it still ranks and does very well to this day. And we haven't even touched it. Like, we haven't even touched anything. So that's the difference of one versus the other. Here you go. How do you put the pages, put out the signs, do the door to door, record the work, do the work without burning out? It's called get off the truck. It's called hiring people. It's called paying people to do what they can do for you. It's called quit doing the $20 an hour task and start working on the $100 an hour task or the $1,000 an hour task. That's what it's called. Ran into a lot of the firefighter guys from Scott County. Guys who work with Bluegrass Roofing. Got a few that will be great extra employees. Yeah, so Bluegrass Roofing, that's funny. So that's Lewis. What's his name? I can't think of his first name. His brother's Bill Lewis. And so they're great guys. I used to work with them at the firehouse at Georgetown. He retired several years ago. And then the other guy is another one. I've used to work with a bunch of them there. So I know exactly who you're talking about. His daughter runs all the marketing for him. Lewis's daughter runs all the marketing for him. Started with the intention of doing permanent lights, but landscape lighting is getting way more attention in the high value areas. Then that's what I would focus on then. I would focus on landscape lighting in those areas than I would for permanent lights. But that can be up to you. Landscape lighting is definitely a higher ticket than you're going to get from permanent lighting. So it's kind of where you are. Now, it is kind of depends on who is your clientele and which one are you going for. We are both in Cullman, Alabama. Service pages and location pages. Yes. So you want service pages. So roof cleaning, house washing, pressure washing, Christmas lights, right? Those are all service pages. And then location pages, you want the actual location pages. Now, with those location pages, you don't want crappy SEO. Make sure you're putting pictures of you working in that area. Make sure you're putting pictures of your van in front of the city sign. Make sure you're putting the picture of you in front of the subdivision that you might be going to do a lot of work in. That will help you show Google that you are real and it's not just some crappy photo that is a nothing photo. So make sure that you are posting photos of you and your crew in that area or that city on your city pages. That can help us out a bunch. Neither of us have a website. That's interesting. Not even a crappy website. And he's still outranking you. That's interesting. You need to keep your weather to yourselves. Who sent Florida 39 degrees weather again? You're messing up our season in high dollar Florida. Jason, you look good. Great. Keep it going. Now, and I told, that's why I told those guys in Cleveland and up there north, I was like, will you keep that weather up that way? We don't want that weather down here. Good day, mate. seems like seems like offering too many services make it difficult to scale. I'm planning to dial back to simple services and start scaling. Your thoughts? I would agree 100%. The people that find their niche or niche, whatever you want to call it, are the people that grow and scale. Because when you try to do everything, especially when you're trying to hire someone, I mean, we used to do deck cleaning or deck sealing. We quit because it was hard to scale at that point. You know, there for a while we talked about not doing so much roof cleaning because we were getting a lot of callbacks, we were getting a lot of issues, and yes, they're very profitable, but in the end, if you got callbacks and you're burning up stuff, they're not so profitable when your profit's going out the door to fix stuff. And so I agree on this here of niching down and not trying to do everything. Because when you try to do everything, you're not good at anything. But when you focus on one thing, you become great at that one thing and you become known as that one thing. And yes, I agree on not trying to do everything. I would agree with that. You know, the people that focus grow the biggest. Daniel was one that when he started, I'm like, get this business to 1 million, and then you can figure out and go to all the different other services. And this question was actually brought up too this weekend of should we offer more services, right? Now, the person that was asking that, their business did like $960,000 last year. So they're right at $1 million. Because the purpose of why you want to get to one business to 1 million before you try to start doing all of these other things and try to do everything is because what happens when you get a business to 1 million, you learn a lot of things, right? You learn how to get leads. You learn how to close jobs. You learn how to hire people because you're not getting to 1 million with just 1 or 2 crews, right? You're probably going to need 3 or 4 or 6, probably 4 to 6 crews to get to $1 million with that. And so that's why when you get to 1 million, before you start doing other things, because then you know how to run a business. You understand business. You understand what you need to do to be able to grow and scale even bigger. And the person that taught me of get one business to 1 million before you start focusing on other businesses is a long time ago, right? It was Russell Brunson a long time ago. It was like, don't be trying to do 3, 4 things. Get one business to there, and then you can start growing other businesses after that. Because again, you figure out all the things that you did right and you might not have did wrong. Also, the main point is they all remember you. That's funny. Oh yeah, I'm sure they do remember me. For sure. We're all in the same networking group. Known them for about a year now. They're great guys. Um, Tabor is. Yep, you're right. Tabor is great. I remember when she was in high school. uh, High school was when she was in high school when I started down there. I would research I would research Google Business Profile Optimization and also run a scan to see if your NAP hours of operation consistent across your citations. Yeah, because if you don't have citation and he does, that's another issue that he's going to outrank you. Like, what's your Facebook page? Does it say your business name, address, and phone number? Is your LinkedIn page? Do you have a LinkedIn business page that has your name, address, and phone number? Do you have everything else that you need, right? Has there been a big decline in jobs to economy or decline in marketing posting push? Has there been a big decline in jobs due to economy or decline in marketing posting push? I mean, DJ is already booking jobs, and more. He's made more this year than he has last year. So I haven't heard too many people saying they haven't slowed down. Um, it's kind of where we're at here, and other people that I know that I talk to. If you were to start another pressure washing business, what would you do different? Get off the truck as fast as I can. I was on the truck for 3 years because I struggled with that a lot of getting off the truck because nobody can do it as good as I can. Nobody can do commercial work like I can. Nobody can run a lift because I'm the only one that can run a lift. Get off the truck. Um, you know, you will be most profitable with you and one helper. You will be the most profitable until you get over probably 7 figures. You won't be that profitable until then. So, with that said, how do you grow and scale so that you can get to the point where you're very profitable again and you're making good money, right? You know, you and one person can do $300,000 to $500,000 with a pressure washing business. And so that's kind of why you want to be able to get off the truck as soon as you can so that you can start focusing on everything else that you usually don't, right? So right now, you're not focusing on marketing. You're not focusing on different things that you don't even know that you're not even focusing on, right? You're not building your network. You're not going to networking meetings. You're not able to do that when you are on the truck. And so that's why it's so important of how do we start networking? How do we find other like-minded people so that way we can grow our business? Because when you get around other like-minded people, that's what's going to happen. So that's what I think that would be the biggest thing that I would do different. How do I get off the truck as fast as I can? And some of that is just how do I do more marketing so that I can get the phone ringing faster? Because my first year, I didn't know how to do marketing. Now I know how to do marketing. If I was to do it now, my marketing right out of the get-go would be 200 signs a month, if not 300 signs a month. Get the truck busy. Start charging pricing right out of the get-go. Don't be cheap out of the get-go, and just go after it. How can we attract more clean, well-maintained homes into our schedule? Because it pays off. I'm getting more reviews from clean homes and more tips. That's why we go to the clean homes, because they take care of their houses. That's why I tell you to market to your clean homes. When you do marketing and you're showing that dirty, nasty green to clean, that's not your customer. You need to show that big old house in the background that's clean. That's what you're showing. Because when you show big old houses, you get more big old houses. When you show the trailers and the barns and the sheds that are nasty, guess what you get more of? Barns and trailers and nastiness. I see it over and over and over. I went and did an audit on on a Google business. He's got his 100 pictures of dirty, nasty looking houses. That's not your customer. You know, I never forget Matt and Destiny out of Dayton, Ohio. They were door knocking, and that's how they got started, was door knocking and door knocking and door knocking. And I told them to not go to the dirty neighborhood, go to the clean neighborhood. And you know what happened? They closed a lot more jobs when you go to the clean neighborhood. And you might be like, they don't even need this house clean, but they will pay for it. That's how you get it. That's what you do. You go to those houses, right? You go to the clean houses, and they're the ones that will pay it. I do a class here in my area, and every house in the neighborhood is nasty, dirty. And someone's like, man, this is a great neighborhood. I'm like, this ain't your neighborhood. Look, there ain't one person in this neighborhood taking care of their grass. Every one of them takes care of their own grass. There ain't one person in this neighborhood that has a nice vehicle. This ain't your neighborhood. This is not your hood, right? This is not where you want to be at. You want to go where people are spending money and having a landscaper do the grass and have a landscaper that's doing the bushes and has a maid that's cleaning the inside of the house. That's who your customer is. That's who you got to go find. That's who you're looking for. You're not looking for the dirty, nasty houses. The dirty, nasty houses ain't going to get you no money. Because if they wanted it clean, it would have been cleaned. They wouldn't let it get that dirty, right? And so that's who you have to look at and try to get those in there. More services, more trouble. Do you find higher ticket areas are happy with Minleon? The fit and finish seems a little lacking compared to other options. We're experimenting with different manufacturers. I mean, I think that they're fine with it. It's just a matter of what you're looking for and who is your customer, right? Um, I believe that you can do it and be fine with that. It looks good, so it ain't. It is what it is. When do you usually put signs out? So this is a great question. Typically, Jeff, we want to put signs out on, it depends. So if you have an area that they pull up your signs, like you put them out and they pull them up, then you want to put them out on a Friday, right? You want to put them out on Friday afternoon or Saturday morning because you want them to stay up over the weekend. Typically, people are going to call you on the weekends. They're either going to call you on Friday or they're going to call you on Monday. They might even call you on Saturday and Sunday. So that's why we want to go out there and put these signs out on Friday. Friday is your best day to put them out because then at least they're going to stay out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and probably get pulled on Monday. So that's why we want to go put them out. With salesman, employee, etc., what's a good profit margin? I mean, we would like to be at 30%. 25 to 30% is a good area to be in. 25 to 30 is really good. 2026. Keeps looking brighter and very promising. Keep printing money bushes to harvest $1 million business. Yep, there you go. Any advice for starting a vending machine business with one other partner? We're thinking of starting a couple of vape and nicotine pouch machines in bars. Interesting. Um, that's a good question. That looks like I would I would probably, I don't know how those machines work, but sounds like a good idea. The only thing I don't know about with one other partner, that can be something that ain't always great. Superior exterior. I know you're a coach, so this may be a conflict of interest, but are you familiar with David Mormon, home service business coach? I am familiar with him. He's got a good program going. I know some people he's helped. He's big on your numbers. I haven't read his book yet, but I know Jeremy Olson has read the book, and the things that he talks about in there is what you need to focus on, right? Um, Talks about his KPIs, talks about all that kind of stuff. If you haven't read his book, I would highly recommend you to read his book. It's How to Get Off the Truck or Get Off the Truck, whatever, something like that. Um, that's kind of where I am with him. I've had him on my podcast here a long time, a couple years ago. So I know who he is. He's a great guy. What's the best way to train someone to be a lead guy? My helper is a hard worker, but he is far from tedious enough, and I have nicknamed him the Tangler because his hose management is terrible. So, have you trained him how to do hose management? Have you, is he thought of as a helper or is he thought of as a technician in training? Because that makes a big difference. If you have a mindset that I'm just a helper, then that's going to be your mindset. And so, you want to teach him and train him. And, it's like kids. You can't tell your kid to do something and he'll do it every time over and over and over, right? You got to tell them 57 times to do something and they will still not do it exactly what you want. It's the same way with your employees, right? You have to go out there and help them and show them and teach them what they need to do and how they can do it faster. He seems to me to properly do it, and I try to show him, but he either gets into much of a rush or gets aggravated over small problems. I'm afraid to trust someone not to screw up my equipment as well. Well, let me tell you something. Do you screw up your equipment? And the answer is probably yes. They're going to screw it up too. You just fix it and you move on. You train them, you make sure that they check the oil, you show them how to check the oil, you inspect that they check the oil. How do you do that? You have company cam and he takes a picture of the oil stick every morning so that way you know that it got checked, right? So you have to inspect what you expect. And how do you do that, right? Some of it is that's why I'm so big on checklists. Do you have a checklist for your employee to go down? Do you have a checklist that you go down, right? Do you have, hey, I did this, we do this, we go knock on this door, this is how we say to the customer, this is how we talk to the customer, this is how we hook up the water hose, we make sure, right? And we do this every time we get to a job, no matter what, right? We do our 5 rounds at the end of the job, no matter what, unless it is a long walk. That's the only reason why we don't do a 5 round. And when you're on the truck and he's on the truck, you better be doing 5 rounds because how can you expect him to do something when you don't do it? So he's only going to do 80% of what you do. So if you're cutting corners, he's going to cut corners even more because he's only going to do 80% what you tell him to do. So that's why it is important that we train him. Hi, folks. Hope that everyone, that all the snow blowers are still working. You can keep that stuff up your way. It's a great book. Go with Jason and put the difference in marketing, my 2 cents. It's a great book. Go with Jason and put the difference in marketing, my 2 cents. Yep. Also, what is the best way you found to pay your employees to keep them motivated? Percentages, pay them percentages. That way, I paid by hour and I paid by percentage. We used to pay them 15% with a possibility of 3 to 5% bonus. And they were making 18 to 20%. Some guys did great. I mean, my main guy, I could put him 4 jobs deep. He would never show up early. He'd show up at 9, 10 o'clock, and he would be done by 3 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock every day. And he had 0 callbacks, and he had reviews. And he made the most money, and he did great because he knew how to clean, he knew how to do it fast, he knew how to be efficient, and he knew how to get back as fast as you can. What's up, Artie? How are you doing tonight? Artie's pressure washing. Is it better to hire first a field technician? Depends. Is it better to hire a field technician or is it better to hire a or is it better to hire an office manager? Are you getting your bills out? Are you getting all that? It depends, right? What are you better at? Can they You have the systems of where they can do the phone for you. Do they have that? Do you have that? Right? So I know some people that will say hire an office manager first, and I know people that will say a technician first. And in the end, I mean, personally, I would do a technician. But on the same hand, if you're a great technician and you suck at some of the office manager, then pay an office manager, right? And that way it's going to be way better for you. Just started my pressure washing business. Any tips on getting customers? I've got a Google My Business and a Facebook page. Do I need to canvas the area to door knock? How many times are you posting on Facebook? Are you posting on your personal page or are you posting on your business page? Are you posting in the groups? If you're not posting 4, 5, 10 times a day, you're probably not going to get a lot of business off of Facebook. That's that. You can do the canvassing or you can do the door knock. You can. My personal opinion, and I know people probably already know what I'm going to say, is yard signs. 200 a month, 50 a week. Put them out on Fridays, you'll hit $100,000. If you put out 200 yard signs a month, every month this year, you will hit $100,000. I would almost bet $50 on it. That's how I would bet $100 on it. If you put out 200 yard signs every month, you'd hit $100,000. Like I said, I'd have bet $100 bill on it. That's how confident I'm in on it. Keep it simple. Don't get crazy on them. Pressure washing and a big phone number. And that's it. No logo, no all the other bullcrap we want to put on them. Pressure washing, big phone number. That's it. One color. Do them blue and white. Do them red and white. Whatever you want to do. And I would almost guarantee you will do $100,000. I'm that confident on it. I know too many people that have done $100,000 and all they did is yard signs. Yes, we want to do our Google business profile. Yes, we want to do our Facebook and post our pictures and stuff. Yes, we want to do our 5 rounds. Yes, we want to do all of those things. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is the yard signs. Talking about yard signs. What's up, people? Got my yard signs ordered and about to start prepping these streets. Mr. Brian Fletcher, how are you doing, sir? Great live tonight. Your weight loss looks great. I bet you're feeling better. I am. I started at 292. I'm down to 264 as of yesterday. And been working out twice a day, doing 75 hard still. Been eating well. I haven't been eating a bunch of crap. So my 75 hard is no bread, but I've kind of went to the carnivore of just eating meat. And that's been that. I do eat a sweet potato here or there or some nuts, but other than that, that's pretty much it. And it's been falling off of me. I haven't noticed it, but today I was noticing my neck when I was moving. I was like, oh, I have lost some weight here. Used to be all this fat and down, but now you can see down. Oh, and the other thing too is, so I was back up to almost the 40s. The 38s were getting pretty tight, but now the 38s are loose. Can't quite get back into my 36s yet that I bought the last time I got down to 250, but I am not too far away from back to 36 weight. So that's a pretty cool thing. You convinced me. I did. I convinced you to try a reel, and it got as many views as an ad does. Not sure if it hit a target audience, what an ad would, but it definitely got eyes. You know, talking about that, one of the guys in mentorship, he, because I've been pushing, hey guys, you need to start doing videos, you need to start doing Facebook. And guess what happens when he did that? He started getting leads and closing jobs by doing Facebook. Imagine that. So I can show you people like Bobby Duncan. I can show you people like Barry Little. I can show you these people that are doing 6 to 7 figures by just doing social media, Facebook. That's it, right? They post in 25 groups, they do what they need to do, and that's how they're able to get lots and lots of business. I am doing great. I'd love to chat with you soon, my friend. Let's do it. Um, you're in Chattanooga, right? There might be a chance that I don't remember if we're going to Chattanooga or not. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to Chattanooga. I was planning on going to Chattanooga, but I think I might go to Chattanooga. I don't know yet. I am going to Transworld. So I'm planning on going to Transworld. If I don't go to Transworld, my daughter actually has a competition down in Chattanooga. They did the drama thing at her school, and it's where all the Christian schools are, and so that is where the state is for us because Kentucky don't have a lot is in Chattanooga. So that's where there is a possibility if I do go with her, I will do that. It depends on if I go to Transworld, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to Transworld. If not, holler at me. Send me a message and let's chat. What can I help you with? I just left my father's dental practice. We both are dentists. His location was rough and money was bad. Now I'm deciding whether to buy an existing practice from a good dentist versus a Devo. Help me. Why not grow your business? What's your customer service look like? What does that look like, right? Silver Day Academy. I think that is it. That is it. It is there. It is at that academy. That's exactly where it is. I'm pretty sure it is. That's funny. Jeremy Olson. And it was just a simple video of brushing an oil stain, no editing, easy stuff, getting out of my comfort zone. Imagine that. You don't have to do all this editing stuff, right? Keep it simple. Just show what you're doing, and it's amazing what can happen. And with you, you've got lots of why should you use this stain versus that stain? Why this customer? We're here in where I don't even know where you're at. Here in Florida. No, you're not in Florida. I don't even know where you're at. We're here and we are, you know, the customer was like, should I use, you know, paint or should I use an oil base? Why do we like using oil base better? Because it goes down into the wood and it blah, blah, blah into the wood. And that's what you're doing, right? You're just educating them. Why do you don't do the crap that nobody wants to do anymore, the texture stuff? Because it peels, it's only going to last for a little bit. There's no guarantee. The new paint's isn't as sticky. It kind of sucks, right? And so you can just educate. You don't even have to get crazy with it. And it's okay if you say the ums, and it's okay if you screw up, because guess what? That's what happens, right? You do screw up, you do make mistakes, and that's okay. It makes you human, especially with all the AI stuff out there. It makes you human, and that's the goal, right? You're not the dog that I'm petting right here. You're human. And so you can take pictures of your dog, and it gets a lot better stuff because people love puppies. But in the end, I know I'm just kind of making a joke, but again, that's why it is. Hi, Jason. Any permanent light expos going on soon? Permanent lights? I don't know. There's one this weekend, I think. Transworld Halloween Expo. That's it. It's big Christmas lights too. Um, if you've never been to Trans World, it's really cool. Um, just to walk around and see the Halloween stuff is pretty cool. Um, you see all kinds of Halloween stuff. You see stuff that you're like, she ain't got no clothes on. That's just paint. That's scary. They got like people going in ovens, and they got all kinds of stuff. Like it's like freaking realistic. So it is crazy stuff. Um, like big, huge rooms of stuff. Um, Pretty cool stuff to see if you've never been there. Kansas City area. Ugh, that area sucks. That's boring. Um, Good old Kansas City, flat old Missouri. But again, I do have a pressure washing and a Christmas light class coming up, and it is coming up in March. I've actually put some more dates up. If you're more interested in the pressure washing, you can go to KPW Train, and that'll take you there. KPW Train. Yeah, see, look, you want to see yourself, puppy? Right, there's the puppy. KPW Train is where you can go. And if you that so that's KPW Train. And if you want to do the in-person for Christmas lights, it's christmaslights.io/IPT for in-person training is where you can go also. I have a couple classes coming up. This next class coming up in March is going to be great. There's going to be some people there that are doing 6 and 7 figures also in this class, because it's a bunch of my mentor guys are coming up for this class, and then we're staying and doing 2 or 3 days after. So that's going to be something that's pretty cool, that if you want to go check that out. And it is definitely something that you will learn a lot being around the people, right? This past class, there was a guy here doing 7 figures, right? He's doing $1 million in his pressure washing business. He's doing a couple 100,000 in his Christmas light business. And then there was another guy that was an amazing sales guy, right? And he has a 9 to 5 job, and he's doing $300,000 on the side, and his goal is 500. And I told him to raise it to $1 million, because I believe he can get to $1 million. And so just being around people that are like-minded, that are successful, will help you. And so we will have a lot of people here that, we got people that are doing 7 figures. We got people that are doing 750,000 that weekend. And, I'm going to be teaching, because here's the things that I'm teaching, they need to learn too, some of it. And yes, I'll probably go a little bit in depth and a little bit more deeper. Like I did even this class, I kind of broke it up. I didn't do my class as I normally do. But that weekend of March, will be the one that will be great. There is a possibility that I'll be doing some advanced classes too coming up. And so that's kind of what's exciting. And it's exciting to see people like Brian Fletcher, because Brian Fletcher was one of my first students back in the day. Was you in the class that was outside? Was that like my first class down there? I don't remember if you were in that class or the second class. But it's just neat to see people that have came and have grown. Actually, the dude that was at 7 figures. He was at 350 when he came in 2022 when he last came. And so that's neat to see people that, they come, they learn, they grow. And that's my whole goal for you all, right? I just want you all to be successful. I want you to learn. I want you to grow. I want you to go and take action, right? I just want you to go and take action. Because when you take action and when you invest in yourself, everything gets better. And so it is really cool to see people being successful. It's exciting to see that. And I'm excited for you all. I believe it's going to be an amazing year this year. I'm excited. I can't wait, because it's going to be a great year this year. I know people that are already closing big jobs, getting big jobs, and it's exciting to see that happening, right? Go get the commercial work. Go do that kind of stuff. Yes. Nick came in drunk. Yes, that was one of my first classes. It was outside. I actually had some classes before that, but that was one of my big classes, first big class. Um, in 20, what was that, 2019, 2020 is when I did that class. So it's exciting. I promise you, my classes have changed a lot. My Christmas light class and marketing class was all in one day, and now it's 2 different days. I have the setup where you'll be able to do all hands on. You'll be able to put up trees and bushes, and I even got a palm tree now. For the pressure washing, we'll clean the building. We'll show you the techniques how to use the surface cleaner, and so that's what it is. It's amazing all the people you have helped over the years, and I just love it that I've been able to help people, and that's my goal, right? My goal, I've been doing my book and I read out things, and one of my things this year is customer first. How can I help you guys grow your business? How can I be customer first? How do we get shipping out faster? How can I help you be more there? How can I do more for you so you can grow your business? Because at the end of the day, all of your business's customers should be first, right? That should be everybody's first goal, is customer first. And so that's something that I'm kind of pushing pretty hard this year. I'm excited. I'm investing in myself this year. It's not like I'm telling you to do something I'm not doing. I got a YouTube coach now that's probably one of the best YouTube coaches in the world. He's actually doing Grant Cardone stuff right now. So I'm excited of what's going to be coming out. I'll be focusing mostly on Christmas lights this year. I'm probably going to keep my channel going, but my big one to this year is Christmas lights. I'm going to try to, my goal is to get it to 100,000 subscribers. And I don't know if it'll happen this year, but my goal is how do I get this thing to start rocking and rolling? That is what I plan on doing. It's amazing. I need to come back to another one. Good boy. So with that, you all have an amazing week this week. Go out there, take action. Again, with pressure washing, we're only 3 days away from March 1st. So it is definitely time of getting to that season. We're not there yet of mowing grass, but everybody always asks, when do we start pressure washing? I always say when people start mowing the grass. So hopefully that'll start here shortly. I haven't seen it start shooting up yet because it's still been cold. But with that, have an amazing week. And I can't wait to see you all next week. And I'll talk at y'all later.